Okay, this is lesson 6 for your remote work. The first thing that you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and put the numbers in the place value chart. So you're going to take the first one, 34.223, which another way we could say that is 34 and 223,000. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in. I'm going to put the 3, the 4, and the decimal is already there. 2, 2, 3. I'm going to take the next number and I'm going to put it in the place value chart. 34 and 232 thousandths. Now I'm going to compare these. You always start at the largest place value. So in the tens place, the 3s are the same. Then the 4s are the same. In the 10th place, the 2s are the same. Okay, so the next place, the 2 or the 3, which one is larger? The 3. So that means that the second number is greater. So I put that symbol. 34 and 223 thousandths is less than 34 and 232 thousandths. Okay, now here's where it gets a little tricky. I have 0.8. I'm going to put that there. And I have 0.706. Okay, with decimals, it's not the same as whole numbers. You can't just say, oh, look at how many digits they have, and it's automatically bigger. That's not how that works. So I have a 0 in the ones place, okay? What's bigger, an 8 or a 7? The 8 is larger, okay? Another way you can look at that is I can add as many zeros to the right of the decimal. It doesn't change its value. That might help you. If you want, you can even add 2 zeros there and compare that way. And that's one easy way to double check. So the 8 tenths is greater than 706 thousandths. Okay, now we're going to look at the next part. I have 16.3 and 16.4, or 16 and 3 tenths and 16 and 4 tenths, okay? Those are pretty easy. The first number that's different is in the 10th place. Well, 4 is bigger than 3, okay? Now the next part, okay, how do I say this? 83 hundredths. Well, this is 83 hundredths. They are the same. They are equivalent. That means they're equal. Okay, our next one has it as a fraction, 205 over 1,000. 205 thousandths. Those are the same. They are equal. Okay, now look at this one. They have 95.580. 95.58. Okay, remember what I just said. You can add as many zeros to the right of the decimal. It doesn't change its value. So I could even add it over here. And guess what? They are equal. Okay, I'm going to do that on this one too. I'm going to add some zeros to help compare. This has 3 digits behind the decimal. This one only has 1. So I'm going to add 2 zeros here to help me compare. Well, 100 is more than 99, so it's going to be greater. Another way to look at that, the 9's the same in the ones place. In the 10th place, 1 is greater than 0. Okay, now this one is really tricky. 83 tenths, 8.3. Okay, now I want you to think about it this way. If you had 83 tenths, okay, now you can only have one number in the 10th place. If you had 83 of them, you could only put the 3 and the 8 would bump up to 8.3. Think of it this way. If you had 83 dimes, how much money would you have? You'd actually have $8.30. It's the same thing. So even though those are written different ways, they're actually equivalent. They're the same. So they are equal. Now look at this one. 5.8, 58 hundredths. Okay. They have the same numbers in it, but are they the same? So 58 hundredths has 2 numbers after the decimal. No, they're not the same. This one would be like $5. This one would be like 58 cents. So this one is greater. Okay. Okay, we're going to continue. We have on the next page 36 and 9 thousandths. So that's like 36.009 4 tens. That would be 40. Think of this as money. What would be bigger, $36 or $40? Well, $40 is going to be greater. Okay, this next one's a little tricky again. 202 hundredths. Hundredths can only have 2 numbers behind the decimal, but I have 3 numbers. That means that the first 2 is going to have to bump to the ones place. So I have 2.02. Okay, the next one, 2 hundreds. That'd be like 2 hundreds and 2 thousandths. So 0, 0, 2. Well, what's greater, $2 or 200? 200 for sure. Okay, so it's greater. 158 thousandths. Look at that THS. That means decimal behind the decimal. So I'm going to put 158 thousandths. Remember, thousandths has 3 numbers to the right of the decimal. This is 158,000. That is way bigger. Okay, now once again, this is kind of tricky. You have 4.15. Now on this one, tenths. You can only have 1 number after the tenths place, which means the other 2 numbers are going to have to bump up. So you have 5 there. The 1 would go in the ones place. The 4 would go in the tens place. So which one of those is greater? 41 and 5 tenths. Okay. Now the next part, you're arranging in increasing order. That means the numbers are getting bigger. So you want to start with the smallest and go to the largest. Okay, now this is a little tricky. This is what I want you to do. I want you to go ahead and add a 0. These 2 have 3 digits behind the decimal, and these don't. To help you, I want to go ahead and add those zeros. Okay, so I know they all have a 3 in the ones place. They all have a 0 in the tenth place. Okay, I know I go to my hundredths. The 4s are going to be smaller. So the smallest is going to be 3.04. If you wrote the 0 at the end, that's fine. My next one would be 3.049. Then I'd have 3.05. And then finally 3.059. Okay, increasing order. Let's see. This has 3 numbers after the decimal. This one does 2. This one does. I'm going to add 1 0 here to help me. They all start with 182, so that's the same on all of them. So I'm looking at the 10th place. I'm looking for the smallest. Well, 0 is definitely smaller. 5 or 2, which one's the smallest? This one would be the smallest. So 182 and 25 thousandths. Okay, then I'm going to go to this one. 182 and 5 hundredths. Then 182 and 105 thousandths. And finally, 182 and 205 thousandths. Okay, the next part, you're doing it in decreasing order. That means you're going biggest to smallest. Okay, I need equal numbers of digits behind the decimal. That has 3. This one has 3. Okay, remember, you can add what number to the right of the decimal that doesn't change its value. Add a 0. This one I'm going to add 2 zeros. Okay, so the biggest number, they all have a 7. They all have a 6. Oh, no, this one doesn't. I know it's going to be the smallest. So I'm even going to number that. It's going to be number 4. It's going to be the smallest because I'm going biggest to smallest. Okay, so then what's bigger, a 0 or an 8 or a 0? Well, an 8. So my largest is going to be 7.68. Okay, the next, okay, I had 608 or 600. Well, 608 is larger than 600. So I'm going to say 7.608 and then 7.6. And I already know my smallest is going to be 7.068. Okay. The next one. Okay, look, they all start with 439. They all have 3 digits. So I'm looking 216, 126, 612, 261. Which one's the biggest? Well, 612. So 439 and 612 thousandths. Okay. Which one next? 261 is larger. So 439 and 261 thousandths. Then 439 and 216 thousandths. And the smallest, 439 and 126 thousandths. I hope this helps. You can feel free to watch it. When you do the Zern lesson, it gives more information too. So what you're going to do, you're going to go ahead and try the homework section. Okay, it's still the same thing, guys. We're going to go over it in class, but make sure at least you try it on your own. Okay, you can review as much as you want, but I want you to go ahead and at least try the problem set 6, okay? And then you're going to do the Zern lesson before you come back. I'll see you next week.